Hello, my name is Scott Alton Stell. I had an idea about consciousness and how everything that has consciousness takes energy. And so I did what everybody in 2026 does, and that's go to an LLM, an AI, and started doing some stuff. And this is what I came up with. Before I read the Universal Biological Manifest, version 6.7, I need to set a frame. We are stepping out of the software, quote unquote, the stories, the psychology, and the metaphors, and we are looking strictly at the hardware. What follows is that we are treating the human container not as a person with a soul, but as a dissipative structure, a localized physical event occurring on the surface of a planet. We're going to define consciousness using the hard constants of the universe, the speed of light, the curvature of gravity, and the flow of energy. We're going to look at the 1G squeeze, the physical reality that you are a high energy standing wave pinned to the Earth's surface, performing constant work to stay in phase, quote unquote, so you don't collapse into a rock. This is a sober, mathematically grounded identity. It is the isomorphic defense, where we acknowledge that the universe lacks no feature of the wave function, and you are simply the part of the wave that the Earth has captured and localized. And now I will read the 1G squeeze. Description. Oh, sorry. Wrong section. The white paper, 1G squeeze, consciousness as a geophysical phase transition, version 6.7, the live stream manifest, technical manuscript reference frame, universal physicalism, Scott Alton Stell, January 17th, 2026. Abstract. This manuscript establishes a hardware-based identity for localized consciousness by utilizing the formal language of general relativity, thermodynamics, and dissipative dynamics. We propose that the universe is a wave function isomorphism, and that consciousness is a localized phase transition of the universal wave function occurring at a stable metric coordinate. We define action-dense matter as a Prigogine dissipative structure, where metabolic energy density is turned to counteract local space-time curvature to maintain a persistent world line. This framework is extended across biological kingdoms to include encephalized predators, botanical snap mechanisms, non-neural central networks, and high-pressure abyssal organisms. Section 2, the fundamental identity, the field equation. The creation of the localized now, quote unquote, is defined by the interaction between the structural load of the planet and energy flux of the organism. The Einstein field equation in English, the Einstein tensor, representing the curve of spacetime, plus the cosmological constant times the metric tensor, is equal to 8 times pi times the gravitational constant, divided by the speed of light to the 4th power, all multiplied by the stress energy tensor, representing metabolic energy density. The squeeze, this represents the curvature of spacetime at the 1.0 g coordinate. The flow, this represents the metabolic energy density of the biological organism. Identity, consciousness is the equilibrium point where internal energy flux maintains a coherent structural geometry, length squared, against external gravitational collapse. Section 2b, the Hamiltonian and the Nernst battery. To define the internal state of action-dense matter, we utilize the Hamiltonian, represented as a capital H, which is the total energy of the localized system. Capital H equals kinetic energy plus potential energy, where kinetic energy is a metabolic flux and potential energy is a gravitational squeeze. The kinetic energy is maintained by the Nernst potential, the electrical voltage across cell membranes. This pressurized electrical gradient provides the internal pushback against the 1.0 g load. Section 3, the area constraint, geometric information loading. In accordance with the Bekenstein bound, the information capacity of the container is defined by its surface area geometry, represented as length squared. Fractal folding. The cerebral cortex and cerebellum utilize fractal folding to maximize surface area for maximum information density. The radiator function. The skin vents the 20-watt entropy tax based on the Landauer limit required to maintain the action-dense phase. This dissipative requirement. As the Prigogine dissipative structure, the human container must export entropy or heat to maintain its internal order. Section 4. The persistence of the quote-unquote now. In a 1.0 G field, the proper time, the actual duration experienced by the observer, is squeezed, quote-unquote, relative to a coordinate at infinity. The Limor metronome. The 1.0 G field acts as a universal synchronizer for the Limor frequency, which is the precision of atomic nuclei. This provides the atomic clock, quote-unquote, for the internal 40 Hertz standing wave. Persistence is an active work function where the organism performs ATP hydrolysis to prevent decoherence into the background curvature. Section 5. Phase shift failure modes. General anesthesia. Forced low frequency synchrony described as ordered collapse. Concussion. Mechanical decoherence exceeding structural elasticity. Terminal delocalization. Upon cessation of metabolic flux, the system exhibits a transient surge in extremal action density. Action density, often seen as gamma band oscillations, representing the latent heat of the phase transition. Section 6. Cross-kingdom action density. The 1.0 G squeeze is a universal hardware constraint. High-performance biological systems demonstrate extremal action density through specialized hardware. Section 5A. Aerial interceptor. Odonata. The dragonfly utilizes high-frequency neural oscillations to calculate intercept trajectories in 1.0 G spacetime. Section 5B. Section 6B. Botanical phase snap. And then Dionea muscipula. The Venus fly utilizes the Nernst potential to trigger a mechanical phase transition or trap closure against the gravitational gradient. Section 6C. Non-neural network intelligence. Sarum polycephalus. Polycephalum. The slime mold utilizes rhythmic hydrodynamic oscillations, also known as shuttle streams, to navigate the 1.0 G environment. Section 6D. Abyssal dissipative structures. Hadala. In deep sea environments, the squeeze, quote-unquote, identity is augmented by hydrostatic pressure. The total gravity equals the Einstein tensor plus the external hydrostatic pressure. To maintain the action-dense phase, these organisms utilize specialized protein folding and piezo-tolerant membrane architectures to prevent the ordered collapse of the standing wave. This confirms that the phase transition is a function of the total environmental gradient. Section 7. Technical Appendix. Empirical Alignment. Bekenstein, 1981, Universal Entropy Bond, defined as length squared. Landauer, 1961, Thermodynamic link to the 20-watt heat tax. Prigogine, 1977, Dissipative structures in non-equilibrium thermodynamics. Yancey, 2005, fluid pressure constraints on protein folds and metabolic flux in deep sea organisms. Section 8, conclusion. The observer is the mathematical origin of a local inertia frame. Persistence is the physical resistance of an energized high surface area structure against the curvature of the 1.0 G field, integrated with atmospheric and hydrostatic pressure. Consciousness is a predictable geophysical event governed by the universal constraints, the speed of light, the gravitational constant, and Planck's constant. Bibliography. Bekenstein, J.D., 1981, Physical Review, D23, parentheses 2. Einstein, A., 1915, Die Fehlgleichung der Gravitation. Landauer, R., 1961, IBM Journal of Research and Development, 5, parentheses 3. Prigogine, I., 1977, Self-Organized in Non-Equilibrium Systems, Wiley. Reed, C.R., and Leahy, T., 2016, Journal of Physics, Physics D, Applied Physics, 49, parentheses 15. Susskind, L, 1995, Journal of Mathematical Physics, 36, parentheses 11. Yancey, PH, 2005, Deep Sea Adaptations, Protein Stabilizing Solutions and Organized Zoolites, Journal of Experimental Biology, 208, parentheses 1. Well, that was everything. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy. Be comfortable.